It was the kind of heat that made your clothes cling to your skin like regret. The plane door cracked open, and Honolulu's thick, fragrant air rushed into the cabin like a wave of warm honey. Beneath me, the jet bridge connected like an umbilical cord to the terminal, another lifeline to a world I thought I understood. I stepped out, suitcase wheels squeaking, heart thumping with the anticipation of reunion. My son was waiting for me, or so I believed. I hadn't seen Josh in nearly 5 years. He left for college on the mainland with dreams bigger than our sleepy Oregon town could contain. He'd written me letters in the beginning. Real ones, with ink stains and scratched out words, but those faded into digital texts, then those into silence. Still, when he called 3 months ago with an unexpected invite, "Mom, come to Hawaii for a family vacation, my treat!" I cried. Not little tears. Deep, gut-splitting sobs. Because after all the years of raising him alone, sacrificing every damn thing to give him a shot at the life I never had, this felt like redemption. I'd worked triple shifts at the care home, sold my wedding ring, cashed out what was left of my savings. Because when he said, "my treat," I didn't think he meant flights and hotel for everyone else. Just not for me. I stood outside the terminal, my sundress fluttering against my legs, gripping my phone like it was the only solid thing in this new, foreign world. When Josh's car finally pulled up, a cherry, red Jeep that looked like it had never seen dirt, I ran toward it. The back was stuffed with luggage and a surfboard, and in the passenger seat was a tall brunette I'd only seen on Instagram, Melanie, his fiancée. He didn't get out, just rolled down the window and grinned like a stranger. "Hey, Mom! So glad you made it. Listen about the hotel. Funny story. I actually forgot to buy you a ticket. You'll have to head back." "But it was so great of you to come all this way!" The world stopped. The palms blurred. My breath caught somewhere between a gasp and a scream. I blinked. What? Melanie was already scrolling her phone. Josh checked his watch. "Yeah, sorry. Oversight." Melanie's parents came at the last minute. We only had so many rooms. Maybe next time. I had spent $20,000. Money that could have fixed the leaky roof, replaced my car's brakes, or even paid down my debts. Just to be told to go home. My jaw tightened. A laugh escaped me, hollow and cracked. My boy, my Josh, looked through me like I was just another tourist. But this isn't a story about heartbreak. Not really. This is a story about what happens after the heart breaks. Josh hadn't always been like this. Once upon a time, he was a curly-haired, bright-eyed boy who begged me to read Where the Wild Things Are every night, his chubby fingers tracing the pictures. I was 23 when I had him. His father left before the ink dried on the birth certificate, and every decision since had revolved around him. I turned down promotions, stayed in our moldy apartment, skipped meals so he could eat. Not because I expected a reward, just because that's what love is. Still, it stings when love forgets you. As the Jeep pulled away with a puff of exhaust and a wave of indifference, I didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, I walked. Honolulu bustled around me. Tourists with sunburns and drinks and pineapples. Honeymooners snapping selfies with Lias. Children with sticky fingers clutching shave ice. The sun mocked me, bright and blistering. That first night, I found a cheap motel near Waikiki. Roaches scattered when I flicked on the light. I lay on the bed, the springs digging into my back, watching the ceiling fan slice shadows like slow, moving regrets. I should have been angry. I should have gone home. But I didn't. Instead, I decided to stay. Not because I had a plan, but because I'd spent 20 years surviving for someone else. Maybe, finally, it was time to live for me. The first subplot began that very night, in the form of a stranger named Kihi. He was the motel manager, mid-60s, wary, with deep-set eyes and salt, and pepper hair pulled back in a bun. He noticed me sitting by the vending machine, nursing a Diet Coke and a bruised ego. "You look like someone who's trying not to cry," he said, not unkindly. "Is it that obvious?" He shrugged. "Tourists usually cry when they realize paradise doesn't fix everything." I told him the story, not the whole thing, just enough to make my shame palatable. He didn't laugh. He didn't offer pity. Just handed me a faded flyer for a local community art center. "Come by tomorrow," he said. "They have a mural project. Could use extra hands." The next morning I went. I don't know why. Maybe to distract myself. Maybe to prove something. The place smelled of paint and old wood. Children ran around barefoot, giggling, as volunteers sketched the outline of a giant phoenix on the wall. The director, a woman named Alani, took one look at me and handed me a brush. "You know how to blend colors?" "I've been blending my whole life." She laughed. And just like that, I was in. The mural became more than a project. It became therapy. Each stroke peeled back layers of grief, betrayal, and exhaustion I didn't know I still carried. I painted for hours, lost in rhythm, surrounded by people who didn't know me, but somehow saw me. The second subplot emerged from a boy named Kai. He was 10, scrappy, with a mouth too smart for his own good. His mother worked 3 jobs and often dropped him at the center until dark. I saw myself in her, and I saw Josh in him. He asked too many questions. Poked at my wounds without knowing it. "Do you have kids?" "I did," I said before I could stop myself. "You mean they died?" "Not exactly." Kai frowned. "That's dumb. If they're not dead, why don't they come find you?" I had no answer. But day by day, with each afternoon spent laughing at Kai's antics, each conversation with Kihi on the motel steps, and each hue of color I added to that phoenix, I felt something shift. Revenge, I realized, wasn't always loud or cruel. Sometimes it looked like rebuilding yourself so beautifully that those who broke you don't even recognize the masterpiece you become. Still, there was a moment, the emotional climax, when it all came crashing in. It was the 4th day. I had just finished painting the phoenix's wings. My phone buzzed. "Josh." A single message, "Hey, forgot to say thanks for coming. Hope your flight back went okay." It was the first time I cried. Ugly, heaving sobs that tore through the fake strength I'd been wearing like armor. Kihi found me curled on the motel balcony. I gave him everything. I choked out. "Why doesn't he care?" He sat beside me. "Sometimes people grow out of their gratitude. Doesn't mean you stop growing." But I raised him alone. I worked like hell. "You gave him wings," Key said quietly. "You just didn't expect him to fly without looking back." That night, I stood in front of the mural. The phoenix's wings were done. The flames surrounded it in oranges and golds that shimmered under the lights. It looked like it could fly right off the wall. I touched the center of its chest, the heart, and added one more color, a deep, aching red. It was mine. The final day in Hawaii, I packed up my things. The roaches didn't bother me anymore. Neither did the thin walls or the leaky faucet. I was different now. At the airport, I saw them, Josh and Melanie. He didn't notice me. He was too busy laughing, checking in their bags. I watched them for a moment, not with longing, but with clarity. I walked past without a word. Back home in Oregon, I framed a photo of the mural. Hung it in my living room. I joined a local art club. Kai still sends me postcards, even if he misspells half the words. Kihi emails me new Hawaiian words every week. I learn them. Slowly. As for Josh, I don't know. Maybe one day he'll remember the mother who sacrificed everything. Maybe he won't. But I've let that go. Because sometimes, the greatest revenge isn't revenge at all. It's healing, it's choosing to rise from the ashes, paint your own wings, and fly. And if you're lucky, someone will look up one day and say she didn't burn, she soared. And that's worth every dollar, every tear, every mile. Even the 20,000 vacation that broke my heart and made me whole again.